Meeting called to order. Today is Tuesday, May 3rd, 23rd. I'm way ahead of myself. May 3rd is now 7:04 p.m. Town Council meeting in Town Council Chambers, 1170 Main Street, West Warwick, Rhode Island. Ed, will you lead us in prayer, sir?
Dear Lord, we ask that you please watch over this great state of Rhode Island, in particular the great citizens of West Warwick. Please help guide this council in making wise decisions, informed decisions, and always with a little bit of compassion. Amen.
Amen. Angela, leads in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call. Council President Goslin.
Here.
Council Vice President Giroux.
Here.
Councilman Padula.
Here.
Councilman Tucker.
Here.
Councilman Kennahan.
Here.
Participating communities: Town of Coventry, Town of Situate, City of Cranston, City of Warwick, Town of West Greenwich. We have a quorum on record. Proposed budget for the fiscal year 2017.
Where's my website?
The wastewater enterprise fund for fiscal year 2017 is $8,079,898, which is a 3.4 increase from fiscal year 16. The proposed budget includes the following. Usage and collections will remain set at 3.55 per 100 cubic feet for West Warwick reserve users, and 4.39 per 100 cubic foot for intermunicipal reserve users. There will be a 4,000 cubic foot minimum charge for West Warwick users. Increase in operational costs due to 2009 Rhode Island DEM consent agreement phosphorus removal upgrade. Potential retirement of an employee, and a 2% increase in Blue Cross Blue Shield and Delta Dental annual insurance costs. The wastewater enterprise fund currently has $2,809,807 and assigned debt service obligations for the annual cost of AWT Upper Maisie Quinn, Lower Maisie Quinn, Clyde Interceptor, and phosphorus removal revenue bonds as required by the Rhode Island Clean Water Finance Agency. Additionally, the fund also has $3,122,876 in general operating and emergency capital reserves. With the 2016-17 wastewater budget, we are proposing to implement a 4,000 cubic foot minimum at a cost of $142 per user, resulting in an increase in revenue of $153,791. The $500,768 in assessments will be placed into reserves for future replacement costs.
Any questions for Christine? Tom, you just want to give Bernie, a brief overview of what we went over last time, where the actual increase is coming from?
I'm going to turn this on tonight. Okay. As we spoke last week, looking at the 4,000 cubic foot minimum, what I did was I went back. We have 1,981 accounts that are 4,000 or less, which makes up the $153,000 increase in revenue. So that pretty much offsets the assessment that we were going to use. We were going to use a third of the assessment, if you remember correctly. This way here, we will not be using the assessment. And on the average of that 4,000 cubic foot, if you were, you'd see about a $70, $75 increase in your sewer bill for the year. So if the average used $64 worth of sewage usage, it'll be up to $142. So you'll see a $77 increase. And I do have, I don't know if I gave you last week, but we went over a typical use of a household in gallons per year or per week, and then I converted that into gallons per year, cubic feet. Do you have that information? Okay. So what I did was
Do you want to go over that real quick for Councilman
Sure, yep. What I did was, I took typical, and this is right off the EPA website, typical gallons for the home use. So I figured one person in a house, if you flush the toilet 4 times a day, that will use 100, it's 4 gallons a flush, they'll use 112 gallons a week. If you take 3 showers during the course of that week, that'll use 40 gallons per shower, or 120 gallons per week. If you do 1 load of laundry per week, that's 42 gallons. If you run the water for 5 minutes a day, that's 35 minutes a week, or 175 gallons. If you wash dishes 4 times a week, again, now this is only, that's 4 times a week, a laundry is 1 time a week, 3 showers a week. The total gallons per week is 473 gallons per week, or 24,596 gallons per year, cubic feet, 3288. And then I did the same thing for 2 people living in a house. And I basically doubled the flushing of the toilet. Instead of 4 times a day, it's 8 times a day for the 2 people. I doubled the showers, 3 showers to 6 showers. I kept the laundry at 1 load per week. The running of water, again, running of water is washing hands, brushing teeth, things like that. I doubled that from 35 minutes to 70 minutes. And washing dishes is 4 times a week to 7 times a week. That comes out to be 898 gallons per week, for a total of 46,696 gallons per year, or 6,242 cubic feet per year. And in your package, you'll look where I did do a 4,000, and I did this at the request of the sewer subcommittee, 4,000, 5,000, and 6,000 minimum rates. And you'll see in your package there the revenue that would increase based on those. At your direction last week, you recommended that I look at the 4,000 cubic feet level, starting out at the lower amount, and that's what I did. And then if we go back to the budget, I had to tweak the budget, so I decreased the expenditures by $8,000, or a little over $8,000, to bring it down to that 153,791. So that's where I came up with that number. And then you'll also, the other options you have in your package. And the other thing I pointed out last week, if you take the sewer budget and you take all of our accounts, the fixed costs, when I say fixed costs, that's items that we really can't control, between power, chemicals, union contracts, medical insurance, insurance through the interlocal trust. That figure in itself comes to $330 per account. So even at the 4,000 cubic feet minimum, it's still well below that $330 fixed rate.
Right, you said there's 1,981.
81.
4,000 or less. And I was just showing Councilman Canahan, is there any of them that, how many are below 3,000 and 2,000? Just out of curiosity, because 2,000 sounds like something's going on in the household, actually.
Yeah.
4,000.
Well, I
4,000.
personally, I mean, if somebody lives, like I just mentioned here, with one person, and only using that each week, I don't know how it can be done. I really don't know how it can be done. If you're only taking, if you're only going to flush the toilet 4 times during the course of the day,
I don't have the number with me. Can I look it up online?
3 showers per week.
Dave is getting a little ripe over here.
I'm glad you said that. I wasn't going to say that. So that's right from the EPA webpage. I do think we do have some issues with the billing, as far as accurate meters, whether they Kent County water issues, whether there are issues, but I do think it needs to be looked into, because for somebody to use 2,000 cubic feet in the course of a year is, I think, impossible. if they're living in that house.
The only reason why I brought it up last year, and obviously, this year, we'll talk about it again, was just because when you set that minimum, there are those approximately 2,000 people that fall below that minimum, and they're just getting charged that flat rate.
But you gotta remember, the fixed cost
Right.
is $330 per account.
And just remember this.
So they're still well under that.
Everybody's been subsidizing the ones that are not using it, while it's costing us to have that service, which makes your property value, I don't have sewers, so my property value is probably worth $50,000 to $75,000 less without sewers, and it's costing the regular rate users, the sewer plant, the facility, $330 just to give that service. So instead of raising everyone else's rates, we're just bringing up, and not even to par, where it comes to $330,000. At $4,000, what is the price per year, Bernie?
What did I say?
142 for
142.
4,000.
And it's still costing the users $180 to subsidize for the people who ain't paying their fair share to get the same service that we're getting.
Well,
And
there,
this isn't the first time that a set rate has been put in place. For this type, yes, a minimum use, but how many well users do we have? I think we said it was,
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know off the top of my head.
But
We have a
that's,
lot. I don't know
yeah,
off the top.
that's $355.
so automatically, like, and I'm a well user, so automatically I'm at a 10,000.
Myself too.
I'm at the 10,000,
no, I know.
so I wish we could make well users down to 4,000, but 10,000.
You can, you gotta put a meter in.
on your house. But, all well, anybody who has a well in their house, and I know my neighborhood, the lower part. I think
Wakefield
there's-
Street.
There's like 10 or 15 wells just in that one area. And we're all on the well system, and automatically we pay 10,000 gallons.
All I'm saying, I
If
know
they
we,
don't have
I know we discussed this last year, and it's a philosophical discussion, like what you said with the fixed rates and the fixed costs, and I get that. That's just a different perspective of the way of looking at it, and I just happen to see it on the other side of, it should just be based on how much you use. You use a lot, then your rate determines how much you use. You use a little, your rate determines how much you use, and that's just the way I see it. The reality of it, and the reality of what's gonna happen here, is we have 2,000 people that are gonna see their bill at $142, and last year it might have been 80, and it might have been 80 for the past 10 years, and it might have been 60 for the past 10 years, or it might have been 100 for the past 10 years, and they're gonna say, why is all of a sudden it's 142?
Take a ride down to Pontiac Ave and take a look at the treatment plant. See what you have down there and the cost of running that treatment plant. There's your answer.
And that's for a whole year. worth of
And I don't
service.
think that anyone paying a sewer rate already, paying well and beyond $330, should subsidize paying someone else's bill where it's costing us that to get it, for you to bring it to us.
The plant still needs to run.
This, and it's not unusual. I mean, if you look in the other page, you'll see comparison of other communities in the state.
So,
Town of Narragansett,
yeah,
$400
Minimum.
minimum.
Under options.
so based on, if you look at, I think it's in the green section under options.
Under options.
It's the second page, or third page in. Actually, it says comparison of sewer use charges.
And that's not by me either. That's by the Narragansett Bay Commission, who
It shows
does this every year.
West Warwick at $284 at 100, based on 150
That's
So-
based on,
gallons per day, right?
right, and that, I did some quick calculation, based on 150 gallons a day, which comes out to be 7,320 cubic feet. So what you do is you take that times our rate, and that's where he comes up with that dollar amount.
So there are 6 communities currently that have a fixed rate, a minimum rate.
This was as of last year. This is last year's. I haven't got the new one this year.
Does that fixed rate mean minimum rate, or does that fixed rate mean, what is it?
It means
Fixed minimum.
they allow so many cubic feet.
For example, the town, and I could speak of this, the town of Narragansett has a fixed rate based on your water consumption. So, in a lot of Narragansett is seasonal. So regardless of which, if you're only there 2 months of the year, you get a $400 sewer bill. And once it exceeds a certain dollar amount, a certain cubic feet, it then kicks in and you get a surcharge on top of
So it
that.
means minimum.
Yes.
Yeah. I know,
So
in-
we have so if we went with this, we would have a 4,000 minimum.
I know in South Kingstown, when I worked for there, we had a minimum, you were allowed 10,000 cubic feet. Anything over 10,000 cubic feet, you were charged at a higher rate, but it was a minimum rate. So if you use 6,000, you're still gonna pay the same. If you use 4,000.
Any questions for Bernie, Tom, or Christine? Anyone? Any public discussion? So this is your second presentation of your budget?
Correct. I think we're back next month for,
The 7th, June 7th,
June 7th will be,
will be out, we'll go before you for approval.
okay. Any questions? You sure?
Positive.
Okay. Don't yell at me later. All right, thank you.
all righty.
There's really nothing else on the agenda, right? Could I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. 5-minute recess.